After years of labor, conflict, and growth in Haran, Jacob hears God's call to return home to Canaan. But returning means facing his past, especially his estranged brother Esau. In today's episode of Eden Pathways, we witness Jacob's journey of faith, fear, and reconciliation, as God guides him through one of the most defining moments of his life.
Return to Canaan. After 20 years of service to Laban, Jacob felt a change in the air. Laban's face was no longer friendly. His words were cold. Jacob felt a deep unease, a sense that it was time to leave. That night, a voice came to him in a dream, the voice of the God of his fathers. "Return to your own land and to your relatives," the voice said, "and I will be with you." Jacob called his wives, Rachel and Leah, to the field where his flocks grazed. He told them of Laban's changed heart and God's command. "Your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, he explained. "But God has not allowed him to harm me. He has seen my hard work. Now God has told me to go home." Rachel and Leah agreed without hesitation. "Is there still any portion or inheritance left for us in our father's house?" they asked. "He has treated us like foreigners, for he has sold us and has also used up all our money. All the wealth God has taken from our father belongs to us and our children. Now do whatever God has told you." So Jacob gathered his family and all his possessions. While Laban was away shearing his sheep, they slipped away, crossing the great river and heading toward the land of Gilead. But as they left, Rachel secretly took the household idols, the teraphim, that belonged to her father. 3 days later, Laban learned that Jacob had fled. He was furious. Taking his kinsmen with him, he pursued Jacob for 7 days, finally catching up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Laban was ready to confront him with anger and force. But that night, God came to Laban in a dream and said, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad." When Laban met Jacob the next morning, his tone was different. "Why did you flee secretly and carry off my daughters like captives?" he asked, his voice strained. "And why did you steal my gods?" Jacob, unaware of what Rachel had done, replied, "I was afraid, because I thought you would take your daughters from me by force. But as for your gods, whoever has them, let him not live. Search and see if there is anything of yours with me, and take it." Laban began to search through the tents, but found nothing. When Laban came to Rachel's tent, she quickly hid the teraphim under her camel saddle and sat on them. "Do not be angry, my lord," she said to her father. "I cannot stand up in your presence. I am having my period." Laban searched her tent thoroughly, but he could not find the idols. Jacob's anger flared. "What is my offense? What is my sin that you have pursued me so fiercely?" he demanded. "I have served you for 20 years, enduring the heat of the day and the cold of the night, and you have changed my wages. If the God of my father had not been with me, you would have sent me away empty-handed." Seeing God's hand in the matter, Laban proposed a covenant. They built a pile of stones as a witness between them. "May the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent one from another," Laban said. And so the 2 men parted ways. Jacob continued his journey, protected and guided by the very God who had promised to be with him. The lesson was clear. God's protection is a shield against human deceit, and his plan will prevail, even when we make our own flawed choices. Wrestling with God and reconciliation. After 20 years, Jacob returned to his homeland. His heart was heavy with fear as he remembered the brother he had wronged. He sent messengers ahead to Esau, hoping to find favor in his eyes, but dread filled him as he waited for their return. He knew he could not outrun the past. The messengers returned with news that struck terror into Jacob's heart. "Your brother Esau is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." Jacob was terrified. He divided his family and flocks into 2 groups, hoping that if one was attacked, the other might escape. Then he prayed, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, please deliver me from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid." Still anxious, Jacob devised a plan. He gathered a massive gift for Esau, hundreds of goats, sheep, camels, cows, and donkeys. He sent them ahead in waves, with instructions to each servant to say, "They belong to your servant Jacob. They are a present sent to my lord Esau." He hoped this would appease his brother's anger. That night, Jacob sent his family and all his possessions across the Jabbok River. He was now alone, on the other side. The river rushed past him, and the darkness of the night settled in. He was left with nothing but his thoughts and his fear. Suddenly, a man appeared out of the darkness. He grabbed Jacob, and they began to wrestle. They struggled all through the night, a silent, powerful contest of wills. As dawn approached, the man touched Jacob's hip, and it was dislocated. The man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob held on tight. "I will not let you go unless you bless me," he insisted. The man asked, "What is your name?" Jacob replied, "Jacob." The man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Then the man blessed him, and Jacob realized, "I have seen God face to face, and yet my life was spared." Jacob, now limping, crossed the river. He looked up and saw Esau approaching with his 400 men. Jacob, no longer relying on his own cleverness, bowed down to the ground 7 times as he drew near his brother, a gesture of deep humility. But Esau did not react with anger. Instead, he ran to Jacob, embraced him, and fell on his neck, weeping. The 2 brothers, separated by 20 years of anger and deceit, were finally reunited in a moment of pure, unburdened love. Jacob presented his family to Esau. Esau asked about the large gift, but Jacob insisted he take it. "Please accept the present I have brought you," Jacob said, "for to see your face is like seeing the face of God, now that you have received me favorably." Esau accepted the gift. The brothers parted ways peacefully, each going on his own journey. Jacob, now called Israel, continued his path, a new man. His struggle with God had transformed him, not just physically, but spiritually. He had learned that true strength comes not from cleverness or deceit, but from humility and a willingness to face the past, trusting in God's power to bring about reconciliation and peace.
Jacob's return to Canaan shows us that God is not only the God of promises but also of restoration. Even when our past feels too heavy or broken, God makes a way for peace and healing. Thank you for watching today's episode of Eden Pathways. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more daily Bible stories that bring the Word to life. See you tomorrow.